Welcome in, everybody. Happy Thursday night here on the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. Robbie Lastella here, and along with my whole crew for the first time, and I want to say the whole summer. I don't remember the last time we've had the whole gang on here, but everyone's on, and we're here to talk some FAU training camp. It's the best time of the year. We've all been out there except Drew, who's hanging out in Jersey. Missing out on some FAU training camp action. But me, Tobey, Christian got you covered. Drew's been observing from afar. And the NFL preseason begins tonight. None of us are watching. That shows you how relevant it is. And the MLB trade deadline has come and gone. So lots to talk about here tonight. But guys, crew is here. How's everyone doing?
It's a great night. Observing from afar for me, but not out of the loop. Still will be able to talk about everything just from a different area and haven't been able to see the boys up close. But yeah, it's a great night. Really happy that we're all back. It's been a really long time, definitely over a month. So really excited to talk about our favorite college football team. And it's going to be a good night.
Yeah, like Drew said, it's going to be a good night, and it's good to be back with all you boys. Like you said, it's been like the whole summer, so it's good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have my Pookies back with me. I missed y'all boys. Getting to see Tobey today and getting to get lunch with Tobey. It was a good day. I haven't seen Tobey. Yeah, it was a glorious Buffalo Wild Wings experience filled with a lot of ranch. And,
a lot of ranch.
And betting on Olympic ping pong.
Yeah, actually it wasn't Olympics. It was like TT Series ping pong, but either way, it was electric. It was.
So you bet on minor league ping pong?
No, I bet on like semi-pro ping pong or something. I don't know. I still have like
the big three.
The bet on SBS. He bet on Sam Houston State ping pong.
I'm just curious. Where did Hard Rock added table tennis? Is that?
Oh, yeah. Dude, go check it out. They've got table tennis. And you can watch it on the app too. It's actually like pretty cool.
You can watch it. They
stream it on the app.
Stream on the Hard Rock Sportsbook app. That's crazy.
Dude, yeah, I may have found a new love for something that I didn't know I had watching ping pong, bro. It's really fun. I'm not gonna lie.
He put a diabolical 5-legger on ping pong.
And it missed by one leg, dude. I'm getting close here. I'm gonna be like a ping pong like a analyst.
Easy there, Forrest Gump.
All right, bro.
I don't know. Table tennis was always made fun of in my circles growing up. They said if you couldn't keep up at practice, go play table tennis. That was one of my coach's go-to sayings.
That's crazy.
I don't know. Maybe the table tennis people need justice. I don't know.
As a table tennis enthusiast and multiple-time table tennis tournament winner, I take a lot of pride in that, and very disrespectful from your coach.
Did almost beat Kyle Teal in ping pong. Just putting that.
Yeah, but I was really young.
So. I'm better at a different type of pong. Just want to say,
you're definitely not. Little kid in the stream, Christian Proscia. You'll be 21 one day, bud. It's okay.
Let's go.
You're 21, dude.
Oh man, it's good to have everyone back. Seen too much of Christian at FAU training camp lately. It's probably been the most annoying part, I'd say. And next to the heat, I've got this guy just snapping all these photos, and it's just like, man, who invited this guy?
Yeah, photo boy doesn't stop talking. I'm not gonna lie. Like somebody put a muzzle on that dude.
Well, we've been out there, and we've been seeing what's been going on with this Owls team. Today was our edge rushing preview over on the Owls Nest. It's a lot of new for FAU, kind of like we've talked about all summer. Now we just kind of got some backing behind it, but it's just kind of a sense that everyone that's around this program right now, both new and returning, is really bought into the culture. We've heard everyone really, we've been asking about it, to be fair, but everyone kind of talks about how the culture has changed really from the past year, from year 1 to year 2 in the Herman era, but compared to the Taggart era, it's night and day. We've heard stuff as little as in the Taggart era, players wouldn't even say hi to each other walking by. They would just walk by with their heads down. And that's all I really needed to hear about the last era, to kind of get the sense that really whatever was going on in the Willie Taggart era wasn't working. And they've gotten a new in there now, year 2 of the Herman era, and it really starts to seem like it's clicking. Drew, you've really been, dove into this program for a while now. Did you kind of sense during the Taggart regime that there was a culture issue going on?
I did. The team, yeah, overall camaraderie wise, I mean, I didn't really cover them like I have the past year. Word of mouth was not there was not positive talk from players around the program, people around the program. From Willie's track record, that's been an issue, and you just tell from honestly just games like inconsistency. Like it's culture is a buzzword, but when it's real, you could sense it, and you could definitely not sense it from that era. Um, so maybe there were some talented players, but even with talented players in a worse conference, I honestly think last year's FAU team would have got the best of any Willie Taggart era team. And the talent might not have even been that much better. It's just that team was such a mess, all of them, when Willie was here. I believe this spring I was seeing it. I was able to see the intensity, the togetherness of a lot of the players. There wasn't a whole lot of whining. A lot of players were going to work. We'll see though. Like we could talk a lot. We could say, "Oh, the culture's changed. The culture's this, the culture's that." We'll see this year. It's year 2. This is pretty much Tom's team. Usually, I think by year 3, it's like in college football, the coach, you pick your team. Like head coaches in the NFL, you have your team eventually. Like you work with the GM to get your guys. So by year 3, Tom will, I think, have all of his guys that he wants easily. Because you could just tell someone to get out the door if you don't want them. But I think this year he's got most of his guys. So we'll see how that culture really is. But it's definitely better in my opinion. I think they've taken the right steps to get there.
Yeah, it's really tough when in year 1, not only do you have to bring in your own players, you then deal with injuries, you deal with a really tough schedule right off the rip. I mean,
Yep.
2 P5 games off your debut in Illinois and Clemson, you almost win one of them, you lose your star quarterback in the other. So, last season, wipe the slate clean, take what you can get from that, and really it seems like everyone that experienced last season is ready to put that in the past. Going into the quarterback position. That's obviously the number one positional battle. And it's tough right now based off reps to kind of look at it and say, okay, yeah, Cam is number 1, Ty is number 2, or Ty is number 1, Cam is number 2. They're both really splitting the reps pretty fairly. The first day it was kind of like side by side, Cam and Ty, and then the second group was Michael Valentino and Case and Wiseman over Jaden George, which I thought was a bit interesting, but that's neither here nor there. The 1 and 2 is what matters, not 3 and 4. And we talked to BJ Alexander about the fact of the difference in leadership in those two, and the exact quote from BJ, if it will pull up, he said, "It comes down to just guess it deleted." I don't have the exact quote. I'll have to pull that up here in a second. But I'm going to let Christian jump in while I pull that quote out because Christian's been at camp the past 2 days. Christian, what have you kind of seen from that quarterback room? And is there anything you jumped out to you've noticed? Is there a leader? What's been going on?
I don't think there's really a leader just yet. Obviously, we're in day 2, guys. Like we can't overreact yet. If somebody has a good day, like it's just because of how small the sample size we've got. We can't like Coach Rock said, you can't put a bust in Canton, Ohio after day 2 without pads on. So I think that yes, we are trending in the right direction. I loved what I saw out of Cam and Ty today. I thought they both threw pretty balls, and they both made good throws on routes on air. Because guess what? That's the only thing. Like we haven't been able to see team drill. We haven't been able to see a 7 on or an 11 on because that's not when our viewing period is yet. Those will probably come when they put the pads on later down the line. But as of right now, they're just running routes on air, and pretty much everybody's catching everything because you're a Division One wide receiver. You better be catching a route on air. Like
Hope so.
I could catch a go route with no DB. It'll be very slow. It'll be very slow.
Won't
I'm
be a
still
go.
athletic to a point.
You hope so.
It wouldn't be a go.
I
It'd be a
think
get there.
Also,
It'll be a he'll maybe get there.
yeah, yeah. My 40 time is he's still going. Got him. But no. Another thing I did observe is it appears we've upgraded the drip from last year. We actually have FAU branded gloves for our skill positions this year, and they're nice. They're white palmed with red fingertip, red whatever this part is called. Backhand. Yeah. With like red lining and stuff, and then they got the red Florida logo with the Atlantic in it. It looks so much better than just the blue and white Addy Zeros that we were running. So I think that having actual branded gloves is going to be pretty nice. However, by saying this, I know that all of the little gremlin recruits that watch this show are going to be storming the locker room trying to steal gloves, or they're going to text me, "Hey, give me some gloves."
I thought you were going to talk about Cam's visor. I thought that
Cam's visor game is always good.
Yeah,
Spring
that was
game,
pretty
he had a black opacity tinted one. I think it was Oakley. Today, everybody was wearing clear today. But yeah, no, Cam always has the drip. Cam puts it on for practice.
All right, so I found the quote, guys. So we're gonna read this quote, and then we're gonna discuss if there's any value in it. So BJ Alexander had this to say when we asked him if both quarterbacks are gelling with the wide receivers equally. BJ said, "I would say Cam has leadership more down pat. He was the starter at Marshall. He has some games under his belt, so he knows how to lead the team. Tyreek is not too far behind. He has some work to do on the leadership side, but it could go either way in terms of the quarterback battle going either way." So, obviously, to me, it's a little bit concerning. I did not necessarily ask about the leadership of Cam or Ty. That wasn't the buzzword there, but that was the first thing that came to mind with the Owls' longest tenured receiver, is that one of the quarterbacks is still working on his leadership. And so obviously, to me, that kind of sounds like QB1 is pretty much decided. Just based off that quote, you can't kind of trot out a guy who is not coming across as a leader to your wide receivers. Now, it's obviously only one, and it's just a small sample size. You haven't seen any of that on the field. It's not like receivers aren't running hard for his routes or anything like that. But to me, it kind of seems a little bit concerning. I'm wondering if any of you guys have any thoughts on that quote, and are you concerned at all that a receiver is calling out a quarterback's leadership?
Well, I appreciate Tyreek's honesty. That is
BJ's honesty.
Oh yeah, it was BJ. Yeah, my bad. But dude, I'm here for it, dude. We've dealt with so much losing and not getting it done, and excuses, and one score losses, and we lost to UAB by 3, and we lost to Rice, and we lost to Ohio by 3. Enough of that. Like, you know how you change it? Accountability. You're the players that you're bringing in. You're giving money to that you expect to be big time playmakers. They need to be leaders, and they need to be the ones that change previous seasons, and they need to be champions. So that's my thought on that. If Tyreek's not being a leader to what the team standard is, I believe he should be called out. I don't know if he said he wasn't being a leader. Maybe he's not to the standard that he should be. And Cam's doing a better job of that, so I won't overread into it, but that's what I got from it.
Yeah, I agree with Drew. I think accountability is the best thing right now for this team. I agree with the too much losing has been going on, and I think when you bring it back to the whole culture point that we were talking about earlier, you can't have a quarterback that's not a leader have that quarterback start. That's not going to bring a winning culture in.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of an issue for sure. Christian, do you have something?
Yeah, y'all hit the nail on the head. The quarterback, you got to be a leader, and where the head man goes, the rest everybody else follows. You can't have a coach be holding your hand. You're an adult now. That's just the bottom line. We're all adults. We're in college. High school football, you can get away with a little running off to the sideline, talking to the coach. That's fine in high school, but now we are big boy Division 1 football. It doesn't matter if you're P5 or G5. You're still a Division 1 athlete. Everybody needs to take the step up and become a leader of men. I'm not just talking as a quarterback. I'm talking a running back, a receiver, an O lineman, whoever, a punter, whoever you need it to be. And it should be everybody. At this point, at this stage in your life, you shouldn't be a follower. And that's the bottom line of it. I hope that's not how people get raised. Unfortunately, in the generation that we live in, that is people would rather follow than lead because it's the easy way to go about life. But guess what? Life's about doing hard things, and you need to just be able to step up and get into that role. And I'm saying this as a PSA to everybody: just step up, because right now everybody is a goal, and y'all are a team. Y'all are one organized, well-oiled machine. Act like it.
Yeah, I think that's what really me and Tobey noticed a lot in our edge viewing today was kind of the unity, the machineness of that unit specifically, coaching being well recepted, players fighting hard each down, kind of an acceptance of roles. Not, no one's the third string is not mad that he's technically the third string right now because there's potential to move up, and so that kind of mindset we saw in that room, it's something I kind of want to see spread throughout the whole team. And I feel like that's kind of what we've heard is the goal, really, is establishing that culture throughout the whole team. And it's really kind of already been developing, and it just, there's still time. There's still newness. It's still early in the summer. There's still weeks to go. And so, this is when the team is really the tightest. They're together 10, 12 hours a day. And so, the leadership in the past has been an issue, and BJ brings it up now in hopes to try to bring things up before they get to week 3 and there's turmoil going on and whatever else comes about in the middle of a season, because that's when things really start to get difficult, is when the games start getting played, injuries start coming at you left and right, somebody's struggling, and it's so. If FAU can kind of get everyone in line right now and everyone focus on a common goal, I mean, that those are the type of things that harms your favorable schedule. You can go out there and lose a game you can go lose that home opener to Army if you're not in sync. The Army is going to be in sync. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They're not going to be committing stupid penalties. There's going to be no one on Army that's mad about their role. Like, they're just going to be there to play football. And if you're not doing the same thing, they will beat you. And so the Army and Navy, those are two teams you can't really mess around with. And so Army will be a tough test week 2. But, if they can get past that game, it'll show me that this team is really united. So just a little bit of a note in the quarterback battle. Obviously, still really early. They haven't split things up in terms of reps yet. They haven't separated Cam and Ty. They're still 1 and 2, and there's not a difference between them at the moment. But just interesting notes from BJ Alexander on that. Kind of shifting gears, staying with that wide receiver unit. Milan Tucker named to one of the top returners in the country. Going to be the punt returner this season for the Owls. Has a chance to be a starting receiver for the Owls, most likely in the slot. Receiver room still wide open, but Milan is super speedy. He's got a chance to make an impact. Christian was hanging out with the wide receivers today. Christian, what'd you notice from that room?
Yeah, like the quarterbacks, it was a lot of alternating, obviously. Basically, what I noticed is there was clear rep delineations of guys who will probably play outside versus guys that'll probably play interior, which I like that we're kind of getting into that part already. Knowing your roles, like Milan was leading first team reps on slot, primarily going ins, outs, zigs, stuff like that. While you have guys like Marlon and EJ and BJ, a lot of abbreviations that end with a J names on this team. But yeah, when you get those guys, they were doing some goes, they were doing some posts, and they were doing some bang eights today. So I think they're already delineating on what your role is going to be as a receiver, because I don't need certain guys doing certain things. Like, I don't want Milan Tucker, who's as tall as me, going up for a jump ball. Like,
He's got
I
hops,
would
though.
he does have hops. He does have hops. But when I have a guy like Marlon Johnson, who's what, 6'2", 6'3"?
Taller, probably 6'4".
Taller. Yeah, bro's a tree. I'd rather him get up there, big fella, or a guy like Khalil Brantley. Yeah, he's a tight end, but still. So yeah, just starting to delineate the roles is something that I think is going to be huge. And then also with the routes on air is good for the quarterbacks to learn timing, because at the end of the day, this is still a very brand new offense. It doesn't matter how many summer workouts and stuff like that. It takes a while to build that trust and that chemistry with the quarterback. It realistically to get that pure receiver quarterback connection and that trust between one another, it takes like 2 seasons. So I think getting that out of the way now, ignore my dogs, getting that out of the way now and really starting to get ahead of that is something that's going to be good.
100%. Milan was named to the Jet Award list for the nation's best return specialist. So keep an eye out for Milan this season. Wide receivers, Tom Herman made it clear that the goal wasn't to try to replace LeJontay Wester in terms of a single player, but replacing that production in droves. And so bringing in Marlon Johnson, bringing in Milan Tucker, Caleb Coombs, Joe Young, EJ Horton, whoever you want, pick your poison. Those guys now join Jay Sean and BJ Alexander to form a really, really deep unit. Omari Hayes as well. So this unit has a chance to really make an impact this season. All of them, not just one guy. And Drew, you watch a ton of football. You're around pro style and both college. Do you think an offense is better when they're targeting one singular guy, like a Vikings with Justin Jefferson? They also had Thielen, though, so that's not the best comparison. But Seahawks with DK Metcalf, for example, or in the pros, do you think that is a more comparable offense or more efficient offense than a team that's kind of trying to piece things together with a slot receiver, a big guy on the outside who's maybe not a name guy?
Yeah, I mean, offense is so complex. There's a lot of ways you could do things. Everybody does it different. It's a copycat league, but everyone, they don't have the same players, and that's kind of like an offense coordinator's goal to, get the offense doing whatever your players do best. I think the best offenses are able to do what their players are best at very, very well. I think that's the best offenses. So, for example, the Dolphins are able to use the speed of Tyreek and Jalen Waddle while using the speed of the running backs and using them in like outside zone, for example. But they're also able to use that and build off that with Tua's probably the best quarterback in the NFL at RPO, the RPO game, that kind of quick game stuff, where he was so good in college. Then a team I think of next is like the Detroit Lions. They do a lot of things really, really well. They are able to use the run game with their 2 good running backs. They get the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown out of the slot, and then they have other receiving weapons. And so that's what I think of right away. So when our offense last year I remember the very last play of our season was Daniel Richardson. Our very last drive, he threw the ball to LeJontay Wester 3 times, and we went 0 for 3, not one catch. Because everyone, and Coach Herman said it, I don't have the quote, everyone and their mother knew that ball was going. It was going to number 1. And that's it's a good thing where you could have a player that can make a play, like a player that is better than the guy across from him and can win. But it's not a good thing when that's the only guy you have, and it's not very hard for a defense to find a way to take that away. Then it's a numbers game. So I talked, I went far with it, but I do think the best offenses do a lot of different things very well.
Yeah.
With the new personnel, we're able to do so, and the new quarterback. It's brand new, so fresh slate for Charlie Fry, who has a ton of experience. We'll see what the offense looks like this year. I asked him really early. I was like, so what does the scheme look like? Is it the same? And he said that word's kind of overrated. The scheme is what your players do best, so we'll see what our players do best.
Sounds like he's got that same kind of mindset that you did. What you got,
Yep.
Christian?
And I just kind of want to throw my hat in the ring about the NFL and like schematically. My personal opinion is the great offenses are dictated by a pass catcher number 2. It doesn't matter if it's a back, a tight end, or a receiver. In my opinion, anybody can have an elite wide receiver 1 because everybody knows where the ball's going. But having somebody else to where it's okay, we absolutely kill. We neutralize Tyreek, but now Jalen Waddle's going to go for 150 yards on us, or Devon Achan's going to have 150 yards rushing. That's where like a team like Carolina comes in. They got nobody. They have old ass Adam Thielen out there. They're shelling that fossil into having to be a wide receiver 1 and getting press covered every damn play because it's all right. And the fact that they have no O-line and it's all right, Bryce Young has less than 4 seconds to throw the ball. He doesn't even get the luxury of having 7-on-7 rules where you have to get it out in 4 seconds. You're realistically getting 2.5 if you're lucky. But no, and like a team like Cincinnati last year, or last year's not a good example because Burrow was hurt most of the year, but a Cincinnati on paper where you have Jamar Chase, but then you have a Tyler Boyd or a T. Higgins back when they were on the team, or a team like Chicago, who I think is going to do very well this year because you've got 3 elite pass catchers. I think DJ Moore will end up being wide receiver 1, but then you got Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze, and you have a good receiving back in DeAndre Swift in the backfield. So I think Caleb Williams is going to have his pick of the litter of, all right, this read isn't open, boom. This read isn't open, boom. And he's going to go through his read progressions, and he's going to pick apart every team. And that's something that's good about Caleb Williams is how methodical he is as a passer. He goes through his reads very well. Obviously, he does try to make a play way too much. He tried way too much at USC to have that Heisman play of where this is your first video that's getting shown in your Heisman mixtape. He was trying way too hard to have that. But when you slow down the game, and that's going to be something, the speed of the league, slowing that down, he's going to pick everybody apart.
We shall see. It's tough when you don't have that deep wide receiver unit. So a team like Carolina, like you mentioned, I have no idea. Xavier Leggett, God bless you. It's going to be,
man. The weather out here was good. Man.
The weather is going to rain. It's going to rain.
It's going to rain.
It's going to rain, and it's not going to be good rain. But just kind of closing it out here with our FAU training camp notes. Shifting over the defensive side of the ball. Today was our edge rushing preview on Owl's Nest. The pass rushing for that unit was a bit of an issue last season. You lose Marlon Bradley to season-ending injury when he's in the midst of a pretty solid year off the edge. And then in the portal, you lose Morvin Joseph, you lose Courtney McBride, and then you lose Decarius Hawthorne. Depending on what you count as a loss. I mean, FAU brings in a ton of talent to replace them. Wilkie Denard from Auburn being one of the premier names, but it's not just him. It's August Salvati from Kilgore Junior College. It's Chisholm Ifiani from Shippensburg. I don't know if it's Shippensburg College or Shippensburg University. We'll call it Shippensburg University, D2 school. And Chisholm was a guy who had a pretty bad season-ending knee injury in 2022. Comes back last year off that injury. Looks like himself. Puts up 6 sacks, I believe, bunch of tackles for loss, an interception, and a forced fumble as well. And now he's up to the P5 level here in his grad year. He's got a ton of speed off the ball. August has a ton of speed off the ball. And then you also bring in Eric Brantley Jr. You bring in Gavanch Marcellin, who's the lone freshman in this group. But again, Eric is a redshirt freshman from Colorado who didn't get to crack the depth chart with Prime, but he's got a ton of speed off the edge. He's a little bit smaller, but where he makes up with that small, stature is with that speed off the edge. And so Eric and Gavanch kind of probably the bottom two on the depth chart right now, but those two guys could equally play right now if they needed to. Obviously, Marcellin would be a little bit slower to the game considering he's a freshman, but he's got a ton of talent. And then Chris Jones, who we didn't even mention yet, is the other returning player alongside Marlon. Not the most flashiest player. Is not going to blow you away with the speed off the edge, but he's still very solid. He's very good in contain, especially in terms when it's a run play. He's very good at run contain, and he had a couple of sacks to his name last year when he was coming the edge rusher role after Marlon Bradley got hurt. So Chris and Marlon, probably the leaders in this unit. I believe it was Wilkie who said that they refer to them as unks. And so we've got Chris Jones and Marlon Bradley, the unks of the edge unit, ready to lead a pretty solid unit, I will say, between Wilkie, Chisholm, and August. Those three newcomers, there's a chance for, I'd say, minimum 10 sacks between those three this season. And that's, I feel like, could be low if Wilkie has the season I know he's very capable of. He could have 8+ on his own, and then I could see that number rising 10 to 15 sacks between those three. So a lot of production is needed. Tobey, anything you noticed from our edge viewing today before we kick it over to commercial break here?
Just a lot of, perfecting like technique and all of that. I mean, in day 2 of training camp, you're not going to be doing anything really that crazy. But it was just good to see guys like Wilkie asking, what'd you say?
Bye, Drew.
It was good to see guys like Wilkie who, you expect to be really solid on this team this season, asking questions and just trying to get coached the right way very early on. It's kind of what you expect at this level, but it is something that I think is worth noting and worth talking about and giving them credit for, because that's something that great teams do. So hopefully we can come back to this 6 months from now or something and be like, yeah, that maybe was just why that was just the difference or something.
Yeah, and something that I noticed over the past 2 days is August Salvati is fast, dude. I like his natural twitch off the line. I think he's going to be a big wild card for us, because maybe he doesn't get a lot of run or something at actual defense. We could use him as a blocker on field goal. I think with his natural speed and have him as the primary gunner to get to block kicks, I would be very interested to see how that is, because most times you just put a backup wide receiver on there and you tell a 5'10", 185-pound dude to get in a 3-point stance and then proceed to get barreled over by an offensive lineman. I think getting a defensive line edge rusher out there is going to be huge. So I think Salvati is going to be an X factor for this team. He's my biggest X factor on this defense.
I pressed a button and it made Drew, but it went on the practice screen, so y'all can't see it. But I'm a bit interested to see if August is going to win your boy Wilkie's job, Christian. If that would be tough. That would be insanity. Actually, is what I would call that. Is if August Salvati comes in here in the off season, no spring practice, fresh from JUCO, and he takes a job. That would be insane. I think Wilkie's crazy talented. I think the reps will end up being split equally, probably between those two at the moment. But the fact that just shows a lot about August. FAU brings in an Auburn transfer, ton of hype around him, a Coach Rock recruit, and here's August just showing up, working hard, and making a name for himself. So I love those type of stories out of camp. You looked at the depth chart probably on Monday, and you see August Salvati, JUCO transfer. Why do I need to go watch him? Why do I need to do that? If you get a chance to go to spring practice, like Christian said, go watch him go off a tackle. Go watch him do a bag drill. You'll be pleasantly surprised.
And that was something that pleasantly surprised me. Sorry, I know we're going over our commercial break. But, yeah, like you said, I wasn't looking for him. It was more of just shoot stock photos of everybody because you never know who will get an increased role at some point. And August is a dude where I really wasn't paying attention, but then I see this dude just fly off the line. I was like, whoa, who the hell is that? And then I did a little research on it, and I'm like, okay, this kid's a dog. I'm like, I love his background, I love his story. I'm bought in, and also more importantly, I got a couple good pictures of him. So follow Christian Pressure Photography because there will be a photo dump first week of camp tomorrow. Follow me on Instagram. Sorry, shameless plug.
There you go. But like Christian said, we've blown past our 9:30 break here on the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. So we're going to take that break, and we'll be right back, and we'll talk to you guys. NFL preseason underway. Training camps in the NFL, those are almost come and gone. But we'll talk all NFL for you and some MLB post-trade deadline talk with Tobey here in just a moment. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Just after 9:40 here on the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. The NFL preseason is underway. Who would have known, right? I mean, I feel like this preseason game has been poorly advertised because, I don't know, I've just not been – usually I watch the first preseason game of the year. It's the only one I'll watch. Tyson Bagent on the starting role tonight for the Bears and for the Texans.
Davis Mills.
What a duo. Currently, it's Case Keenum versus Brett Ripien. Jags legend. Didn't he play for the Jags? Who did Brett play for? I forgot who, but
Played for everybody.
He just threw a dot.
it's like at this point, I'm pretty much ready to say let's get rid of the preseason. Let's do organized scrimmages. I love the organized scrimmage in camp season when there's like fights and stuff like that. That's my favorite part of the preseason, really. And let's completely abolish these preseason games and let's just play some organized scrimmages. Let's scrap, and let's go straight into the regular season. Let's add another game. I don't know how you guys feel about the preseason, but I think it's the dumbest thing under the sun.
I mean, I kind of agree, but at the same time, preseason is good game simulation to weed out your 53-man roster. So they're gonna keep it because end of the day, it doesn't pose a threat for starters. You're not gonna you're an idiot if you put your starters in unless they're kind of like coming back from an injury or they're new to the system and stuff like that. You might put them in for like half of a quarter, like 2 drives. But other than that, like I see no need for the preseason, but I understand why they have it.
Tobey, Drew, anything? Are you guys for the preseason, against the preseason?
I'm against it. I just, like I said, I think it's a cash grab. I mean, I don't see what they could really not gain from the preseason game that they just couldn't just get from an organized scrimmage, like you just said. So I just feel like they try to get ticket sales and build around the hype of the upcoming season that's coming up. And I don't know, it's just boring. It's not entertaining.
Painfully boring. I want to sim through it like we're playing Madden.
Yeah, seriously.
So my opinion being, so the pros, I really like that some players can make a name for themselves and make an NFL roster. I like being, yeah, that's kind of it, honestly, now that I think about it. The cons, the injuries. I mean, I guess the pros, like, players get reps, but, like, dude, you get reps in practice. I get it's not the same thing, but, like, the cons, the injuries. Yeah, we have a lot of time till the NFL regular season, and then you have a week, I believe, in between preseason and the NFL regular season. So yeah, but the problem is the NFL. You can't do something like a G League. I've had this conversation with someone. No one would play in it for one because they don't want to risk an injury playing in this league with a bunch of, no offense, like bottom tier players, and obviously the coaches just wouldn't care enough, and they wouldn't have the time to coach that. And how would the coaching work? So it just doesn't work like that. So I guess you need some sort of preseason to give players a chance. Yeah,
I think that's fair.
That's on it.
I think that's fair, but I feel like they need to find a way to make it more entertaining. Like maybe, I don't know, I don't know how you could make it entertaining in season. Like you could try. I was gonna say like the team who has the best record could pick their bye week, but then you can't do that with the schedules and everything. So it's like
that just it puts coaches at a crossroad. Hey, do I want to do that and potentially have a scheduling advantage, but it might not actually be an advantage? And what if Lamar Jackson plays a game and gets injured because of it? Like,
I don't know, maybe a draft pick or something. But at that point, if you're worried about injuries and stuff like that, then it's not important, and then it's not. I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to fix it.
Listen, injuries are part of the game, and that's unfortunately the risk you take playing professional sports. It doesn't matter if you're a football player, basketball player, baseball, lacrosse, table tennis.
Tennis.
Yeah,
table tennis. Throw out your rotator cuff, bro.
Drew, during your King of the Hill tournaments of table tennis, did you ever go into a game worrying that you're going to blow out your UCL and then you have to get Tommy John surgery?
Never, dude. Never.
No, bro. Unfortunately, it's part of the game, but at the end of the day, as a athlete, you don't go into things like, oh, what if I get hurt? Like, no, you go in thinking that you're going to score 4 touchdowns and you're going to break a bunch of records because that's the mentality that you have to have. Like, if you go into things thinking that you're scared, just stay at home and lay in your bed and watch the real men and women work.
Well, Christian, yes, but that wasn't my point at all.
No. I completely agree. Rest your starters during the preseason. Rest your starters. Rest your starters. Please.
Play them.
Please, Caleb Williams, do not play the Hall of Fame game.
Also, yeah,
He's not.
to add on to your point, like, yeah, there's some coaches, and I actually agree with this. You'll never enter a game afraid a player will get hurt. Like that, you can't enter a game scared that a player's going to get hurt, or else they can't play football. Like simple as that. So, like, yeah, if you enter, you expect them to be able to play and play to their ability, and you expect them not to get hurt. So you never enter a game scared like that. But yeah, like, and like Patrick Mahomes is never going to play like a full half of a preseason game. So yeah, rest your starters.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, they're changing the rules of the NFL consistently with kickoffs and everything in between.
And these stupid things.
So it's like I feel like the preseason's next. I feel like it's on the chopping block. I feel like the NFL is very proactive in changing things. So I feel like that's something we'll see probably within the next 5 years, is that the preseason is completely abandoned. Whether it's abolished or turned into 1 game, 2 game, I don't know, but we'll see how that develops. Sticking with the topic though, training camp's underway. I know we got 2 Dolphins guys in here, Drew and Christian. Are you guys happy with the Tua contract? Do you guys think that Jordan Love's contract afterwards is a bit disrespectful to Tua? What's the thoughts?
I'll go first. Tua deserves his contract. 2 MVP caliber seasons is worthy of, here's a blank check, write the dollar amount. I don't care what anybody says. Tua put up 2 MVP caliber seasons. Jordan Love played a total of 17 games in his entire career while being drafted in the same draft class. And for about 8 of those, he was low-key mid. He ended up finishing with almost top 10 stats in pretty much every statistical category last year. However, and he has a playoff win. Unfortunately, it's like he has a playoff win. Yes, it's on a very overrated Dallas team that was overrated all year because it's Dallas and their fans think that they're going to win a Super Bowl because they might win a preseason game. But the harsh reality is Dallas is going to Dallas and they're going to blow in the playoffs. So you knew it was coming. But Jordan Love, congrats on getting your bag, bro. I don't know how you got it. I don't know why you got it this early. Apparently being Aaron Rodgers' water boy for 3 years kind of puts you in an elite tier because, yeah, I held his jock strap. Like, I don't know what is worth that. But in order of quarterback contracts this offseason, I think Tua deserved it the most. Then I go Kirk Cousins, then I go Trevor Lawrence. That's just my personal take. That's the 3 that I think deserved it the most. And if you couldn't tell, Jordan Love is at the very bottom of the list.
All right, so I can go on forever, but I will give the brief summary. I'll start off with Jordan Love. So where not that I disagree with Christian at all, but the Packers, when they drafted Jordan Love, knew what they were signing up for. If you are going to draft Jordan Love with Aaron Rodgers still having MVP play caliber in his system, then they know that they are going to at least be sitting him for 1 to 2 years. It ended up being 3. So they knew as soon as Jordan Love played, if it was good, he is going to get paid. So they knew what they signed up for. I do think it was a bit much, but also the market is the market. I think Love to like player-wise is not correct, but also that is what you're dealing with when they went about it the way they did. Now on to Tua. I can go I'll give you the facts first. Tua has led top 5 offense each year that he has played the past 2 years. So that is a statistical fact. Tua, when he is out, the Dolphins' offense is a complete joke and has been bottom 5 when he misses. Anyone that disagrees with that is disagreeing with facts and is just being disingenuous. Now, you can get into just on the field stuff. I think a lot of people really play into the NFL meme page stereotype kind of stuff, all that.
Dove Clown.
Noodle arm, can throw to these receivers, yada yada yada. I wish it was as easy as that, but it's just not. I mean, if everyone could throw to Tyreek and Waddle, why was Teddy Bridgewater awful, like the worst he's ever been in his career? Why was Skylar Thompson a joke, and why was Mike White awful when he entered? So
by the way, Mike White deserves to get cut. I'm sorry, he's atrocious at training camp. Like Mike White is throwing Stevie Wonder level reads. I'm not gonna lie.
Christian just said like 10 minutes ago, training camp, it's too early.
Huh?
You just said it was too early to judge training camp, Christian.
I said what? I'm so tired.
Yeah.
Too early. It's training camp, bro.
Yeah. Well,
whatever. He doesn't deserve to be on the 53 man. He's trash. Like ship him off to Detroit. Detroit's good now. Ship him off to Carolina.
All right, back to the talk. Tua on the field has absolutely deserved it. He's a leader. He's a winner. Two things that you need to bring in. Our wins a QB stat. I don't know, but he sure has helped more than he's hurt. That's for sure. Leadership. Everybody in the locker room loves him. They even said he should have held out, even though he didn't. And then you can get into the on the field stuff. I think he's a really special quarterback. He has his flaws like everybody. I think he's worked on them to fix his flaws. I think he'll continue to have a few flaws. And yeah, I definitely think he's deserved it. He could. Now it's time. This is where, all right, now I'll just wrap it up real quick, but where the conversation comes in is the playoff wins. Respectfully, he's played one playoff game, and it was against Patrick Mahomes and the Super Bowl champs in one of the worst weather games of all time. I'm sorry, but if you're actually going to say you can't win a playoff game, bro, he played the Super Bowl champs in one of the worst weather conditions of all time. Watch this here. I expect with a good defense, his defenses have been bad the past 2 years. I expect with a good defense, the Dolphins are able to win some playoff games.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll see. A lot of people are a bit apprehensive because that only playoff game is against that horrible weather game. So it's kind of tough. The jury's still out. You had to do it. You had to sign him. Right now, you couldn't let him hold out. So they did what they had to do, but they got to win. And whether it's up to him, whether it's up to the defense, we'll see. And we'll see what the issue is. If there is one, hopefully there is no issues and the Dolphins win a title. That'd be good. That'd be good for the storyline. But if there is something, then we'll have to go back and look and say, was it Tua and did they spend too much money or did they underpay the defense? So we'll see. But we're running out of time here, and we have to talk about Jazz Chisholm, Tobey. He's literally he turned the Yankees 2 weeks ago, less than that. I mean, maybe I was planning to go on your show Saturday because I wanted to talk about how much the Yankees have sucked. And since then, I'm pretty sure they've won just about every game.
Yep.
So
yeah, I think they have. Yeah, literally every game.
I'm glad we have audio issues. I'm glad we had audio issues. I didn't get a chance to talk about them sucking. We only got to talk about Jazz Chisholm. And you know what? The world took that and spun it into him hitting 2 home runs, or was it 3 home runs in 2 games?
4
home runs in 2. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Back-to-back games.
First player to ever, for the Yankees at least, to ever hit 4 home runs in their first 2 games of the franchise, which is unreal.
One of them was using Aaron Judge's bat, which was pretty nuts. But that was against the position player. So I don't know.
Well, the alternative was he was going up right-handed.
Righty, yeah, I saw that. So it's like, do you think that? I mean, we talked about this a little bit on the show on Saturday before the great EV Muck's destruction of 2024. Is his personality still? Was it really that much of a difference? It seems like the whole team kind of DJ LeMahieu had 6 RBIs. What is going on? Is Jazz Chisholm providing the team a spark, or is it just right time?
I think it's kind of just the right time. The spark's undeniably there, but I think it's more the fact that it's just the right time. I mean, we saw Glaber kind of hitting a lot better since he got benched. The week that Jazz came in, Verdugo was hitting 300 or something. So I think maybe, the deadline just shot a bit of a fire under these guys. But I mean, having Jazz play with the swag that he plays with, and then hitting the way that he hits. I mean, I told Christian this earlier today, but we've gotten more versatility out of Jazz in like a week than they got out of like 4 years.
Yep.
Jazz was banished to center field.
Comes right into third base and looks like a seasoned player at third base too. He's not making tough plays look that tough. Like, this kid's just an athlete, and he needed to play somewhere that was a winning culture and a winning environment. And the Yankees haven't been a winning culture.
The Marlins banished him to center field. Like,
they were ready to say he was washed, bro. Like, they were trying so hard to get everybody to hate him. I feel like.
Y'all notice how, like, when we started talking about Jazz, my emotional support Golden Doodle just immediately jumped in my lap because she knew I was going through hell. I hate the Marlins.
Dude, you got Agustin Ramirez in return, though. You should be happy.
Oh, he was a good prospect.
Great, you actually did get a good return from that trade.
Yeah, but once again, saying a good prospect is like flexing a summer league championship, which unfortunately the Heat are doing right now.
That's not at all the same.
No, having a good farm system of a bunch of prospects that will either never make it to y'all majors or will get traded. That's not a flex. Either bring them up and win,
like big league ETA,
or just shut down the team.
They're expected to all get to the major.
Shut down the team. Sell them. Get rid of them.
We gave you guys like 2 top 30 prospects. That's like a good return for a guy who was just above a league average hitter for you guys. But I mean,
I don't watch baseball. I don't know what any of that.
Yeah, don't get into this, bro. You can't win this.
I mean, we'll try to make Christian feel better here, Tobey. I mean,
alcohol
in the Marlins dealings. I mean, I think that I was going to, that might be the only thing for you, Christian, because their return really was lackluster. I mean, they got they got Connor Norby, right?
Yeah, that's a good prospect. But other than that, they got Dylan. I think they got either Robbie Snelling or Dylan Lesko. I think it was Robbie Snelling who was the.
I like the name, so it'll probably be good.
Yeah,
Robbie Snelling.
No, I think that's like their second or third rated prospect now. So
bunch of bums.
They got a decent return. They sold literally everybody they could have, and the rotation, the pitching looks good for the future. It's the field that's always going to be a giant question mark for the Marlins.
Robbie Snelling comes in. He's immediately their number 2 prospect behind Noble Meyer. Connor Norby is their now 5th prospect behind Max Meyer. Agustin Ramirez is their 6th prospect. Davison De Los Santos is their 7th. And Adam Moswar is their 8th, who they just got from the Padres as well. So they've got their 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th, and 2nd prospects from dealings over the past month. Graham Pauley's at 12th.
That's a good pickup.
Yeah, by the way, that's 8 dudes whose name just went through my head, and I said, who?
Well, would you have actually known any prospect if we were
I know Noble Meyer. All
right, that's good.
Because he looked like a 12-year-old at the
draft.
Yes,
because he looks like as if it was like my little brother out there.
Bro has the physique of like a 16-year-old sophomore in high school, but was throwing like 99 miles per hour. It was crazy.
Yeah.
With filth.
Yeah. I wanted the game.
Did he get called up yet?
No.
He's 2026 ETA.
He could probably.
He's good. Why is he not with us?
Because Christian, the 4th level down is a lot different than a major league hitter.
Yes, but guess what, bro? We have no pitchers with elbows. We have Sandy. We have Yuri. He's Luzardo. Isn't Luzardo hurt? Yeah, 3 aces who are
Max
doing
Meyer
the same thing I'm doing right now. Get this kid, let's fast track him a little.
We'll give you Michael Tonkin.
Y'all are not the Angels, man.
I literally thought you were about to say Michael Tonkin.
Christian, please do not ever say fast track Noble Meyer ever again, bro.
What?
You don't fast track a 19-year-old pitcher, bro.
Don't care. Get him. He could be the youngest kid to start an MLB game. I don't care. We need help. That's the unfortunate part. Is
why do you need help? You're not exactly in the postseason race. I mean,
listen. I know we're not contending, but
I don't know. I think the Marlins
It's
are
just
cooked.
a show. It's just a show. Y'all know what words before show, but it's a show, and unfortunately, the show needs to take its way to Oakland.
Yeah, the Oakland Marlins.
Dude,
The Oakland Marlins will
they
feed
could be the
them.
Oakland Jackalopes. I don't care what the hell they're called. Get them out of Miami. I would rather not have baseball in this city than have terrible baseball.
I think Christian wants to have a sit-down chat with Marlins general manager Peter Bendix, and we might have to schedule that.
They posted some BS quote about how this is going to take them to contending. Stop lying.
I hope
Contendies?
they do contend after this because I'd
Contenders?
love to come back.
Yes,
to this.
you gaslighting and love bombing is what they did in that post. Like I see through your lies. I see through the lies of the Jedi. This is you are not cooking.
No. The stove is off, and the stove is off also here on the Lastella Report. We're after 10 p.m. here on the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. That's all we got for you tonight, folks. We will be back next week. Me and Christian Tobey will be at FAU training camp tomorrow and Saturday. I'll be back on Monday, and that'll be it next week because I'm going on vacation. But we'll see you guys on Monday. We'll see you then, and we'll see you from on the social media platforms with training camp coverage. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. For Christian, Tobey, and Drew, I'm Robbie, and we'll see you next week.